Robots are no longer a vision of the future. They are already here, quietly transforming the world around us. In the past, automation was limited to heavy industry and repetitive factory work. But today, it is expanding into every sector: logistics, customer service, accounting, transportation, and even decision-making. Across the globe, companies are investing billions into robotics and artificial intelligence, not because it is exciting technology, but because it is efficient, fast, and reliable. In China, this transformation can be seen inside some of the most modern parcel sorting centers on Earth. Massive warehouses operate almost like living organisms, where hundreds of small robots move across the floor in perfect synchronization. Their mission is simple: transport parcels, sort them, and deliver them to the correct destination without slowing down. The scene is impressive, almost hypnotic. Robots glide in straight lines, avoid collisions, and work continuously with minimal human intervention. In facilities like these, automation has turned parcel sorting into a high-speed system where efficiency is everything. What makes this revolution different from earlier waves of industrial progress is that it does not only replace physical labor, it also reduces the need for human supervision. In many automated warehouses, humans are no longer responsible for the core workflow. Instead, they perform secondary tasks: monitoring, maintenance, and handling rare situations that machines still struggle with. But even these roles are shrinking. The machines are improving rapidly, and every new generation of robotics reduces the number of employees needed to keep operations running. This raises a major question. If robots can perform tasks faster, cheaper, and with fewer mistakes, what happens to the workers who once depended on these jobs? Automation is often presented as a tool that simply makes life easier. But for many employees, it is not comfort. It is competition. A robot does not need a salary. It does not take breaks. It does not ask for benefits. It does not get sick. And it does not quit. From a business perspective, it is the perfect worker. The same logic is now spreading beyond logistics into manufacturing. In small workshops and factories across Europe, robotic arms are becoming common, even in businesses that once believed automation was only for large corporations. Modern robotic arms can be trained quickly. Instead of complex programming, a technician can simply guide the robot through a movement once, and the machine will repeat it endlessly with precision. This means that tasks once performed by skilled workers can now be automated with minimal training, and at a cost that is becoming more affordable every year. One of the most influential developments in this field is the rise of collaborative robots, machines designed to work safely alongside humans. Unlike traditional industrial robots that must be separated behind fences, collaborative robots are built with sensors and safety systems that allow them to operate near workers. Their purpose is often described as assistance rather than replacement. Supporters of this technology argue that robots take over the exhausting and repetitive tasks, allowing humans to focus on higher-level work. They claim productivity increases, businesses grow, and new opportunities appear. But this optimistic vision is now being challenged by something even more powerful: artificial intelligence. Robotics is changing physical labor, but AI is changing mental labor. For decades, people believed office jobs were safe. They assumed automation would affect factories first, while human intelligence would remain irreplaceable. That assumption is collapsing. Today, AI systems can read, understand language, analyze data, and respond to customers with an accuracy that continues to improve. The workplace is entering a new era where machines are not only doing the work of human hands, but also the work of the human mind. In the United States, companies have begun developing AI assistants that can operate like digital employees. These systems can handle customer support, answer questions, process requests, and learn from experience. Some are designed with realistic human avatars to make the interaction feel natural. The goal is not simply to provide information, but to simulate conversation, empathy, and understanding. Engineers are working to make these systems recognize emotions, interpret context, and respond in a way that feels personal.
Yes, I have the Q3
In many
reports right
cases,
here.
the technology is not
Did you
meant
get
to
the
impress
sign-off
the
on
public.
Smith account?
It is meant to replace an
We can
entire
schedule a
department.
meeting for Thursday afternoon.
The danger is not theoretical. Large-scale automation has already led to job losses in multiple industries. Accounting departments, cash handling services, and administrative work have been transformed by digital systems that can process information faster than any human team. For companies, this is a major advantage. Fewer employees, fewer errors, and lower costs. For workers, it can mean sudden dismissal, loss of income, and long-term insecurity. Even when employees find new jobs, they often face lower wages and fewer benefits, proving that automation does not always create equal replacements for the jobs it destroys. At the same time, industrial robotics has expanded dramatically in sectors like automotive manufacturing. Modern factories can now operate with minimal staff. Machines mold parts, robots remove them, other robots package them, and automated systems transport them across the facility. In some plants, humans are present only to supervise quality checks and maintain equipment. The rest of the work is done by machines that can operate continuously, sometimes even running for hours with little or no lighting. This level of automation is not just impressive, it is a clear signal that the traditional workforce model is changing permanently. Economists and researchers have debated this shift for years. For a long time, the dominant belief was that technology always creates new jobs to replace the old ones. The argument was simple. Productivity rises, costs drop, new industries appear, and workers transition into new roles. But recent research has shown that this transition is not always smooth. In many regions, jobs lost to automation do not return quickly. Communities built around industrial labor can suffer long-term decline, and displaced workers often struggle to find positions with comparable pay and stability. And no country is pushing automation harder than China. For decades, China's economic power was built on large-scale manufacturing and affordable labor. But as wages increased and competition intensified, factories began searching for a new strategy. Automation became the solution. Today, many Chinese companies are investing heavily in robotics to remain competitive and to maintain production levels while reducing dependence on human workers. In massive industrial sites, robots are increasingly replacing laborers on assembly lines, performing tasks that once required thousands of employees. This transformation is not only driven by business ambition, it is also influenced by social pressure. As workers become more demanding and labor disputes increase, automation becomes a way to reduce conflict and maintain control. Robots do not protest. They do not demand higher salaries. They do not organize. For governments and corporations, this creates a powerful incentive to accelerate robotization, even if it comes at the cost of human employment. However, this creates a new crisis. What happens when millions of workers are no longer needed? When factories and offices become automated, unemployment could rise on a scale the modern world has never experienced. And the usual solution offered by governments and experts is always the same: retraining. Workers must learn new skills. They must adapt to the future. But here's the uncomfortable truth. Even experts cannot fully predict which skills will remain valuable. Should future generations focus on mathematics, coding, creativity, communication, teamwork, or problem solving? All of these seem important, yet artificial intelligence is advancing so quickly that even complex tasks may soon be automated. The challenge is not only to train workers, it is to train them for jobs that may not even exist yet. If societies fail to adapt their education systems, labor policies, and social safety nets, the consequences could be severe. Rising unemployment leads to inequality. Inequality leads to frustration, and frustration often leads to political instability. History shows that when people lose their economic security, they become vulnerable to extreme ideologies and radical promises. The technological revolution, if unmanaged, could become a social revolution. This is why the rise of robots and artificial intelligence is not simply a story about machines. It is a story about power, economics, and the future of human life. We are living through a transformation as significant as the first industrial revolution, but faster and more unpredictable. The world is moving toward a future where human labor is no longer the foundation of productivity. And the decisions made today by governments, corporations, and societies will determine whether this future becomes a path toward prosperity or a path toward crisis. Because robots are not stopping. Artificial intelligence is not slowing down, and every year machines become smarter, cheaper, and more capable. The question is no longer whether they will change the world, they already have. The only question left is whether humanity will be ready when the machines take over the work. And we are forced to redefine what it means to be useful, to be employed, and ultimately, to be human.